Most new creators spend hours planning videos that end up getting only a handful of views, leaving them to feel deflated and overthinking their next video even more, or for the most part, actually just giving up on YouTube altogether. The truth is that as you're starting out, each video is a piece of information that you're giving YouTube about your channel, meaning in order for you to get views, you need to start making more videos and planning them faster. So in this video, I'm going to show you my simple system for planning videos fast so you can give YouTube the information it needs to get you views. First of all, I'm going to assume that you've got a rough idea of what you're talking about in this video. And if you don't, then I've got a video linked in the description of how to come up with video ideas in about 10 minutes. So step one is to know your video idea. So for this, I'm going to be using the example of saving money each month. Then you want to plug this into what is called a title framework. And ideally you'd get these from looking at competitors in your niche and finding what is called an outlier video, which are videos that perform better than a channel's average. But for now, to save you some time, I'll give you a few of these frameworks so you can get started immediately. And these have worked across multiple niches on YouTube. So we have how to topic like an authority, number of niche tips in a specific year for a specific topic, first number of things to do in a specific niche, and then in brackets, tips and tricks. And then finally, we've got it's actually pretty easy to and then result. So let's plug in our example and we could have how to save money each month like an investment banker. 5 money saving tips in 2026 for people on $50,000 a year. First 5 things to do when you get your paycheck. Tips and tricks. And it's actually pretty easy to save money each month. For this example, I'm just going to go with the 4th one. So we have our video. Now we need to really just go through all of our ideas for this, of what we need to cover to get them this result. And these don't need to be specific. Just imagine that someone came to you with this problem and asked, what would you have me do to solve it? Then start writing down the steps. So for our example, we could have mistakes or misconceptions people might have about saving, auditing your bills and expenses, creating a budget, maybe some tips on sticking to that, allocating money that you'll save, and taking a look at what's happened in the previous month to know how to improve. And I would highly recommend you do this yourself, but you can also check this with AI by saying to it, I'm making a video titled whatever your title is. What points do you think I should cover to get the best result for the viewer? And then just see what it thinks to it, or give it the points that you have and ask it if there's anything you're missing or anything that might not be needed. Now that we have our rough plan, we want to write down some thumbnail ideas. And this isn't you making the thumbnail yet because you want to stay in this kind of planning mindset. We'll move on to designing after we've planned these videos. So what would a good thumbnail for your video be? I have another video linked in the description about thumbnails. So if you're feeling stuck here, you can check that out. But for now, I'm going to write down 3 potential options so I can test them later. For a thumbnail that would go against what people already know and get their attention, I'm going to say, me with the text, spend more, as this is the opposite of what they're probably expecting from a video about budgeting. I'm then going to go for a before and after. So before and after of a bank balance in its negatives and the other with money added to savings. Then I'm going to use a thumbnail that quickly mentions the result they want. So me with the text, save money easily. And if you want to take this a step further, you can ask AI to generate an image of the thumbnail you've written and use this as kind of a rough visual idea for when you come to make your own version. You can also ask AI for ideas of what you should put in your thumbnail, but I would recommend getting good at doing this yourself. And again, then asking AI if there's anything that might be a better way of getting the idea across. Now that you have an idea for your thumbnail, the next step is to think about what video you'll send them to. And a lot of people ignore this, but it's a crucial part of building a successful channel. So ask yourself what the next problem someone might have is. And you don't need to have this video made yet, so long as you know it's one that you plan on making soon. Going back to the example of saving money, it could be a video pointing to side hustles that make you more, or a video about looking at the end of the month and assessing your finances. And this is going to be unique to every video, but you want to ask yourself if at least 80% of the people interested in this video would be interested in the next one. And if it's not, then rethink it until that is the case. Once you know what video you'll send them to, you can now structure your content so it's in an order that makes sense, holds the main reveal until the end, and points to that next video. What I mean by holding the reveal until the end is that if there is one main thing that person is looking for in your video, you need to hold that to the end, either by moving other points before it or asking yourself if them points are really necessary. I first found this with a video comparing 2 different types of lights, where we put up a side by side of the effects both lights had on a person's face and looking looking at the retention graph of the video, people pretty much left straight after that because they got what they were looking for. So remember to keep the main reveal until the end. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure that the last point is related to the video that you suggested. So back to that example, if my next video was about assessing your monthly spending, then moving the point where that's mentioned to the end will dramatically increase how many people click on that video. But there's actually slightly more to this strategy of what I call clustering your videos than what most people think. So check out this video where I show you how to cluster your videos to get more views and increase the number of sales you get from your video.